how did they get the funds to like make that, like to get those buildings? And were they taking it from the people that were coming in, like into like the into their cult? Where like was he getting their, like, I don't know, their savings or like whatever, and like essentially using it to build up the place?
It wasn't like a Jim Jones situation or like some, I've even seen it in some modern split off churches where, you're getting a lot of funds funneled in by using people basically.
Yeah.
And uh, this was much more, uh, I guess you could say voluntary. A lot of people probably were throwing some money towards it, but they did have a main source of income, and it's what ends up probably biting them in the ass. And that is, they were a legal FFL dealer. Were selling firearms.
No way.
They, that's actually how Vernon Howell was able to pay all the back taxes and essentially steal Mount Carmel from the rightful owner.
So,
That makes sense. The amount of weaponry they had, I heard, was large.
oh
That was
yeah.
part of the reason that the government met them with such force. And my mom has said several times, like, we can disagree with the Branch Davidians all we want. They were doing CD stuff, but the way the government handled it was horrific.
That's right, and that's part of my thesis on why they are important today because they are now, if more than ever, a political hot topic.
No shit. No.
No,
Where'd you go?
we got him back. Got him back.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. That was
Okay.
that was a cat that just stepped on something.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
They
Sorry,
will do that. I have a throw the cat across the room policy when that happens, in a loving way.
Yeah. All right, let's come back to you guys. All right, that distraction's over.
You're good.
So part of your thesis on why, that's where you were
Yes.
at.
So I find it fascinating that they're still relevant today as a political talking point across the spectrum, from left to right in American politics. And I don't want to really spoil the ending too soon, but I mean, we can get into that now if you want.
No, I mean, like, if it fits, it fits. Go ahead. Go say what you're gonna
All right.
say.
So, talking about the ATF and the FBI's response to this, it's been a talking point since it happened about demilitarization of police.
Hmm.
And that is still a talking point that this is one of those ramping up times where no one really thought about it until this time period. This is 1993 when the siege happens. You just had the LA riots in 92, or I think it's actually a year after. I think it was 94, but ATF is involved in that. They had to escort people all around LA. They were confiscating up to like 3,500 firearms during the LA riots. Then, I mean, it's really just during this time you had the North Hollywood shootout, which was right at the same time. Um, you have this upscaling of what our police are asked to do and what equipment should they be dealt to handle it. And that's kind of what you see, and that's like now more than ever you see that as a talking point. So I find that fascinating. You also see on the other side of the spectrum of the people who want no government involvement in their lives, and the people who cry taxation is theft. I mean, the ATF at this time even was not a part of the Department of Justice. They were still a part of the Department of Revenue. They were basically the militant arm of the IRS during the Waco siege,
Hmm.
and um, this is always going to be a scar on their record, and obviously people still talk about it today. But that's kind of one of those points of people who are pro 2A, and then people who also say the government shouldn't be involved in your business and all that kind of stuff because they were, like I said, they were legal FFL dealers. Um, the CD cult stuff about child endangerment and things like that was secondary to why they were there.
That's right.
And
That's right. Because I remember watching that too. Like they weren't the only reason why they were there was for the firearms stuff. Like was it the illegal selling of firearms, or like what was it? No.
it wasn't even that. They were, and we'll get into this because there's a lot of back and forth finger pointing between the former leader of the Branch Davidians, the one whose right was stolen from him by David Koresh,
Hmm.
and David Koresh. There was a lot of mudslinging legally between the two of them. And while there were rumors that there was, quote, automatic gunfire coming from the ranch, um, or the compound, I should say, where they lived, there's a lot of people who believe that George Roden, who was the son of President Benjamin and Lois, who took over in the 50s, he was being prepped to be the next leader, and David Koresh kind of stole that from him. So
had is up and weird.